You haven't deployed technology just because you installed it. No, you've deployed it when the person working at 3 in the morning actually knows what it does. They know why it matters, and they know how to use it when the pressure is on. And that's coming up next on TiPS Today in Public Safety.
Welcome to TiPS Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories in public safety news. Here's your host, Fletch, with today's tips.
Welcome to TiPS Today in Public Safety. This is Fletch. I'm a NEMA certified ENP, and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I bring you all the important topics about public safety and communications. A couple of days ago on Monday, we talked about why the conference isn't the implementation plan. A good idea doesn't become progress just because it sounded good in the ballroom, looked great in the demo, or showed up home in somebody's notes. No, it becomes progress when it's owned, understood, and put into operational practice. But today I want to take that one step further. Training is the first deployment. Now, I know that might sound obvious, but I've watched way too many projects get labeled complete right after the equipment got installed and the software was turned on, or the vendor completed the functional demonstration. That's not a deployment. That's an installation. No, the real deployment is when the people who have to use the system completely understand how it fits into their workflow. Train the work, not just the screen. Just about every new system comes with a screen. Every new feature's got a button. Every new tool's got a menu, a manual, and usually a slide deck. But operational public safety is not a software demonstration. The person at the console isn't thinking, I wonder which menu option do I select next? No, they're thinking about the caller, the responders, the location, the information that's streaming in, and what's got to happen next. That means training has to be intuitive, built around the work, and not simply around the screen. If you're introducing a brand new mapping tool, you don't just show somebody where to click. You show them how the information changes the decision. You show them what happens when location's uncertain. Show them what you do when the map, the caller, and the automatic data don't all agree. If you're introducing a new transfer workflow, you don't just explain the transfer button. No, you walk through the information that's got to be handed off. Explain who owns the call, what the receiving agency needs to know, and why a transfer is not just an exit. We've talked about this. If you're introducing a new AI-supported quality assurance system, you don't tell people that the system is going to score the calls faster. You explain what the system's going to be looking for, what it doesn't understand, and why a human being is still responsible for all the coaching and final conclusion. Because the best training already answers the questions people are already asking. What does this mean for me when the phones are ringing off the hook? If training can't answer that, it's not finished. Quality assurance should teach us something. With all the tools out there, I think quality assurance is one of the most misunderstood tools in public safety. That's because when people hear quality assurance, they think somebody's looking for mistakes. They think about score sheets, check boxes, and that uncomfortable meaning when somebody explains what they did was wrong 3 weeks ago. That's not the best use of quality assurance. No, a good QA process should take the organization and teach them something. It should point out where procedures are unclear. It should show you where training isn't sticking. It should be revealing problems in location information, call transfers, policy, technology, or supervision. If you've got 5 people all making the same mistake, you probably don't have a people problem. You've got a process problem. If your people are consistently confused by a new system feature, don't just assume that they're resistant to change. Ask whether the training explained the operational purpose. Ask whether that workflow makes sense. And ask whether the system is actually creating work instead of reducing it. See, I think this is one of those places where AI can be very helpful. AI helps you sort through more calls, better identify patterns, find those reoccurring phrases, and organize the data. Then take all of that data and point out to supervisors exactly where they need to take a closer look. That'll save their time and apply their resources where they're best suited. You see, AI doesn't know the full context of the call all the time. It doesn't know the local policy unless you've taught it the local policy. It probably doesn't understand the tone of the caller, the judgment of a telecommunicator, or the reality of a chaotic incident, especially when compared to an experienced human being. But the tool still has value. Use the tool to organize the work. Just don't let the tool own the conclusion. Training, coaching, and quality assurance need to remain human responsibilities. I'll say it again, the real test is 3 o'clock in the morning. That's my simple test for any new technology, policy, or process. Can the person working in the middle of the graveyard shift use it correctly without having to search for a manual, call a supervisor, or guess what the organization intended? If the answer to that question is no, then the deployment is not complete. Now, it doesn't mean every person's got to memorize every feature. It means the important things have to be practical, accessible, and reinforced. Remember, people learn differently. Some need to see it, some need to hear it, some need to do it, and most of us need to do it more than once before it becomes muscle memory and the way we work. That means training can't be a single one-time event before go live. No, it's got to continue after the system is in place. You need to build scenarios, run short refreshers, and use real examples from QA in your agency. Let your people ask questions without feeling like they're admitting failure, and give your supervisors the tools to coach, not just correct. And remember, when technology changes, you've got to change the training with it. The fall weather is coming, and on Friday we're going to talk about preparedness and why you don't get to practice during the storm. Training is all part of that preparedness. You can't wait for the major incident to discover that people don't understand the routing, the backup system, the mutual aid procedure, or the information that they're supposed to share. Now, that work's got to be learned before the pressure arrives. The bottom line. Remember, technology isn't deployed just because it's installed. No, it's deployed when the people who depend on it can use it with confidence, judgment, and purpose. Training isn't what happens before the work. Training is how the work becomes reliable. And that wraps up this episode of TiPS Today in Public Safety. This is Fletch. Thanks so much for listening. We'll catch you next time. Take care. Hey, it's Fletch. Thanks so much for joining me today. I really hope you learned something new. Please remember to like and subscribe so you'll be notified of all of our new episodes. TiPS publishes 3 times each week on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings at 8 a.m. Eastern. You can also listen to or read my blogs and other long-form content at fletch.tv, and my professional website with all my contact information is at fletch911.com. Once again, thanks so much for spending some time with me. And if you're in public safety, as always, thanks for what you do every single day. We'll catch you later. Take care.
You've been listening to TiPS Today in Public Safety, your go-to podcast for today's breaking stories and public safety news. Hosted by Fletch and available every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Catch past episodes on 911tips.com. I am Spider Harrison, the official 911 voiceover dude. No small animals were harmed in the making of this podcast. However, it may contain peanuts, or peanuts may have been used in its production. This content is void where prohibited or expressly forbidden by law. And by the way, I said peanuts.